OSU, an anime rhythm game that's all about clicking circles on the screen. It looks simple and boring, but once you start playing harder maps, just a bit harder, that's where the fun begins, and why I have over 800 hours with it. I went from playing these kind of maps at the beginning to now these. So let's start from the beginning, shall we? Back in 2011, I was a complete beginner who fell in love with OSU's gameplay. And it's like a game version of Spotify where I can discover new music and genres that I would never listen to. Fast forward to around 2017, I started playing this game more seriously and became a top 7,000 ranked player at that time. I was really proud about it. Even now, some of the best scores on my OSU profile are still around that time after 8 years. I could have kept going, but I was busy studying in high school and I had other games to play. So I quit OSU for a few years until 2021. In early 2021, I saw a YouTube video from the official OSU channel talking about the next major update called OSU Laser, a complete redesign from the original game, but it was still in early development, which means it lacked a lot of features, most notably the performance point system, a ranking system that determines how good a player is. So I came back to it for a few months to play around with it, and then I go back to playing other games when I feel like I was making no improvement. However, it all changed on January 30th, 2024. PP was finally introduced on Laser. Not only that, nearly 8 months later, on October 9th, 2024, the developers reworked the PP system, aimed to reward consistent play, meaning a mistake at the beginning of a map would now have a similar impact on PP as a mistake in the middle, even when the total score is vastly different. Adjusting all active players' PP, mine included, going from 50k up to 40k. So as I started to take a break from Destiny 2 in November, I went back to OSU for a little funzy, until I couldn't get myself out. As I started playing daily to D-Rust, I realized I'm in a really good shape, setting a couple 300-ish PP play in a few days, like a 359 PP score on Opaque with Hard Rock modifier, surpassing my 8-year-old highest PP play on Minamo no Sakura with 339 PP. If you think coming back for a few days to break a record I made 8 years ago is not impressive, just a few days later, I did this. An S rank on Tower of Heaven with Hard Rock with 409 PP. My first 400 PP play. My hands were shaking like crazy because I failed or missed the ending too much for my little heart to handle. But beyond the excitement of the play itself, seeing my rank go up 5,000 places up made me wonder, how far could I go if I keep playing like this? After a lot of thought, I made a decision. I want to fully dedicate myself again for 2 months, and I want to set up some goals for myself to finish before February 1st, 2025. So here's the list of goals that I want to achieve. First, I want to break into the top 50k on the leaderboard. Second, I want to comfortably stream at 220 BPM and burst at 260 BPM. Third, I want to improve my skill on technical maps. And finally, I want to set a personal best with a 600 PP play. So, the Feb 2025 series has officially begun, and this is the start of this 2-month journey. A quick reminder, I didn't record any of the gameplay I had, which means the challenge was documented based on my memories. Some plays are recorded after the end of this challenge to match the flow of this video. At the very start, I was mainly focusing on my basic skill set, so I play regular ranked maps that's around 7-star difficulty. For me, it was a sweet spot where it was challenging, but I could still get a decent score within a couple attempts. I was just playing as many maps as I possibly could to improve my basic skill set. I got a few decent scores, but the improvements that I've made will be helpful once I start to go for my first actual target on my list. High BPM stream and burst. In my opinion, they are one of the most important skills in the entire game. As maps are getting harder, BPM tends to go up as well. So being able to stream and burst at higher BPM can massively expand the range of maps for me to play. And if I got lucky, I might be able to cheat a 600 pp play with one of the easier maps. But you gotta start somewhere, so I tested myself with a 200 BPM stream map on Blue Zenith, one of the most iconic and classic maps in the entire game. And the result? Yeah, I was horrible, but not because of the reason that you might expect. It was my stamina and my consistency. I can stream the first half of the map without any issues other than terrible accuracy. Then my fatigue starts to hit until I physically cannot tap anymore on my keyboard near the end. Also, my consistency at those stream sessions were horrible as well, dropping a few hundreds in a 15 to 20 note stream, which tanks my accuracy dramatically. With this tragic test, I knew I had to bring up the big gun to help me do the job. You see, up until now, I was using the built-in keyboard on my laptop with a kickstand to play OSU, which works fine for casual gameplay, where I'm not rapidly hitting the keys like a maniac. However, when I try to play maps that demand high BPM precision, especially with long stream of notes, the difference compared to a mechanical keyboard is really noticeable. The laptop keyboard lacks the distinct tactile feedback of a mechanical key press, making it difficult to maintain accuracy during intense sequences. After playing more stream maps with a mechanical keyboard, my stamina and consistency are a lot better, and I can stream 250 BPM maps without issues. Most notably Embraced by Flame, which is a 215 BPM stream map, and I was able to pass it in about 2 weeks into Disco. Other than that, while practicing for streams, I also took some time to practice burst maps, and I was able to pass Ignite with DT at 256 BPM with decent score and accuracy. However, there was a big issue underneath the surface of getting these plays. During that period, my left hand hurts whenever I start playing high BPM stream maps, and the only way to alleviate that is simply playing less stream maps. Sometimes I had to stop playing OSU entirely for a day, because it even hurts whenever I try to play any maps. Because of this, I had to slow down my pace of pursuing Disco, playing other maps in between just so that I can play OSU daily. I'm sure this little injury will not become a big problem for me near the end, right? Tech maps is my biggest weakness in terms of the overskill I have, and that's part of the reason why I made such a vague go about it. Because I'm basically starting from scratch with this skill set. There are a lot of characteristics that makes a tech map really challenging, and here's the list of what I think they are, and let's break it down on how I want to get better at it. First, unconventional rhythm and patterns. If you were a player that mostly plays standard rank maps, tech maps will remind you how deep this game truly is. Rhythm in these maps are more unpredictable and complex. Being able to adapt to certain rhythm change and harder patterns at the same time is incredibly crucial. For example, the Everlasting Eternity has a lot of rhythm changes, sometimes 150 BPM, sometimes 175 BPM, and a stream section and 200 BPM, even when the rhythm might sound similar in the entire song. Second, awkward snappy devices and finger control. I think you've heard of 1/4, 1/8, or 1/12 beats, but some of the tech maps will abuse snap devices to make it as uncomfortable to hit as possible. I think the best map to showcase it is Koigo Koro. It abuses the rhythm to make as many 1/3 beats to fit in a 1/4 map. And it's also an excellent map to talk about finger control as well, because snapping between 1/3 and 1/4 may look easy, but you will regret that thought because changing the tapping between them is super painful and not intuitive at all. So you have to suffer through all of that while reading and moving the cursor at the same time. Just to let you know, I'm still horrible at this skill, and I can't even pass this map. Third, awkward aim and slider. This is the one of the most feasible ways to see why a tech map is really hard. So why don't I showcase you with two maps to let you better understand it. For awkward aim, take a look at record one stream. It requires super precise movement to hit these spaced out nodes. You can definitely try to hit it similar to a flow aim map, but it's gonna be easy, because there are a lot of awkward jumps for flow aim. For awkward sliders, I present to you Operation Xenophon, last year's OWC Grand Final tiebreaker. It has a lot of accelerating slider patterns that's very hard to read and aim. Especially with AR10, some sliders are just gone in an instant if you dare to blink in those heavy slider sessions. So now you know what makes a tech map technical. Here's a plan to improve my skill. Play more tech maps. Yup, you heard me right. The only solution to this problem is to play more of these maps. Cause that's the only way to improve my ability to identify complex patterns, finger control, and all other stuff that makes a tech map hard. And thankfully, tech maps do not require the tapping that stream maps need. So I can work towards both of these goals without too much problem. Then what about the recovery phase of this chapter? Simple, I flew to my friend and spent 5 times there to visit him. It was my first time traveling by myself, and I was incredibly happy that I was able to do so, even if it means destroying the progress I've been making for over a month by playing OSU for at least 2 hours every day. After I came back, my skill did drop off. It's just that I lost too much progress. I can't stream 190 BPM maps, tech maps are harder for me to read. It's like I went back in time before I started doing this challenge. But there's one good thing about this little vacation. It made me stop playing OSU. I know you have a lot of questions, but let me explain by asking you a very simple question. After not playing OSU seriously for over 8 years, I managed to achieve my highest PP ever within just 2 weeks of returning. How did I do it? The answer is simpler than you might think. I stopped bad behaviors. By not playing OSU continuously, I avoid getting bad habits that will hurt my performance in the long run. And I also get a better, clearer mindset so that I can be more focused at the game. Not long after I came back, I got my first pass on Freedom Dice, a classic 220 BPM stream map, a much higher accuracy on Tojita Sekai and other tech maps, all thanks to this little vacation. My overall skill has quickly recovered and improved even further, and I'm ready to move to the final phase of this challenge, and time was running out before I even knew it. With only about 2 weeks left, I want to start pushing myself to finish some of the easier goals as soon as possible. I realized I was doing pretty good on high BPM streaming and burst maps, so that's what I'm going for first, and it didn't take long. On 21st of January, I passed Hold Your Color with DT, a 261 BPM burst map. 2 days later on 23rd of January, I passed Ragnarok, a 234 BPM stream map, 1 down, 3 more to go. For tech maps, I got a really good score on Thunderstrike 1988, a weird slider pattern map with some awkward stream session in between, and passed the Operation Xenophon for the first time. It's gonna sound a bit lame, but I consider those 2 scores alone a major improvement for my tech map skills. As I've said before, I'm literally starting at ground zero. For the 50k leaderboard, I was consistently getting a lot higher in those 2 months by simply getting a lot of 300 PP plays and a few 400 PP plays. In fact, if you check my OSU page now, you'll see most of the best performance scores are from those 2 months, with only a few remaining left from back in 2017. It was close, but I managed to finally hit top 50k right on the last day of the challenge. However, the biggest problem I'm facing right now is getting a 600 PP top play. and I've only come to a realization at that time, maybe I might have set the goal for this one a little bit too hard for myself. At that time, the highest PP I've ever gotten is around 450. If I can't even have a score that's close to 500 PP, how could I even get to 600? Getting a 600 PP play is not going to be easy. Heck, I would even say it's probably impossible. So I want to look for maps that I'm really good at, which around that time were any stream maps that's lower than 210 BPM. So I quickly found a few candidates, which are the Magician, Save Me with Hard Rock, Blue Zenith, and Honesty. For these maps, they require very high accuracy without any misses. And when I mean high accuracy, I'm talking about near 99%. While my consistency has improved compared to the start of this challenge, I still doubted myself whether I could pull off such a flawless run on any of them. With the clock ticking, I want to eliminate at least 2 maps out and focus on maps that I'm feeling more confident in. So with only 1 week left, I chose to leave Blue Zenith and Honesty behind. Both of them are heavy stream maps, and if you remember my little injury a month ago, yeah, they are coming back and it's even worse. So I had to leave them out in order to not make me feel absolute shit when I'm trying to play OSU. So let's take a look at these 2 maps that I'm going to put my maximum effort into. The first one is the Magician, a 200 BPM stream map, but it only has 1 big stream section in the middle that lasts less than a minute. If I don't miss the easy stuff, this 600 PP will be an easy grab for me. The other one is Save Me, a near 11 minutes normal long map, but I need to get over 98.7% accuracy with Hard Rock, and no misses for the entire run. Both of them were very difficult for me, but I believe I was capable of doing this if I managed to lock in and have a god mode moment. For the final week, I do play other maps to warm up and make more improvements, but I will try to play these 2 maps as much as possible to remember patterns and rhythms for higher accuracy. Especially for Save Me, since I need to play it with Hard Rock, I have to spend more time on this to make myself comfortable at AR10. With such a monumental test ahead and the deadline getting closer, I was getting a lot of pressure as each day went by. However, I can comfortably say that this week is the peak of my OSU career, period. I got a lot of really good scores and insane god mode moments, but none of them were those 2 maps I needed to finish the challenge. I still have my hopes up, but the improvements that I had on them were slower than I expected. My accuracy increased for both of them, getting from around 95% to 97% in less than 3 days. But climbing up to 99% is going to be much more difficult. Just like how you can get from 60 marks to 90 is so much easier than going from 90 to 100. I started playing other maps again, and when I got a really good score on one of them, I would try to get the momentum into these 2 maps, but I would just fail again and again. In the Magician, I was constantly missing near the end because of the nerfs, or just straight up having a really bad accuracy with horrible tapping consistency for the middle stream section. For Save Me, my accuracy is still not good enough, and I was always missing in the stupidest way possible even when I'm confident that I can hit them if I just pay more attention. Days passed by, and suddenly the nightmare struck. February 1st, 2025. The final day of this challenge has arrived. This is the end of my 2-month OSU journey where I want to push myself one last time, before completely retiring and watching this game grow as an outsider. And my hope of getting that 600 PP play is fading minute by minute as my last 3-hour session has begun. After a brief warm-up for about 15 minutes, I went straight into spamming these 2 maps. When I'm feeling too exhausted, I'd play some normal maps with songs I enjoyed and try to ease my feelings a little bit. And finally, something magical happened. This is my best play ever on this map. Incredibly high accuracy before the big stream section, and I was feeling really good. But missing that stream session broke me completely because it might be the only chance I had to achieve the goal that I was set out to do 2 months ago. I tried to play a little bit more, until my hands were so tired that I can't even play anymore. My brain is feeling a bit dizzy as well. So at exactly 12 AM, when the next day hit, I stopped the challenge, and yeah, I failed to get that 600 PP goal in time. To be honest, I was really mad about myself after I failed to get a 600 PP play in time. But the experience and improvements I've made during these 2 months will always keep a special place in my heart. This journey is all about pushing myself to the absolute limits and finding a new passion for a game I started playing 14 years ago. I know I've become even better at OSU, surpassing myself 8 years ago with only 3 months of returning. So, now to think of it, why would I be mad when I've improved so much? Is it because I set a goal that's literally impossible for me to achieve with the time strain I had? Or am I still not good enough? But maybe, just maybe, what if I can try it one more time? That's exactly what I thought. After I finished my exam, the fact that I failed this challenge lingered in my mind for quite a while. So, since April 2nd, I've been playing OSU daily again with a new set of goals that I want to achieve by the end of the year. However, this time, I believe I will succeed, no matter the cost. If you want more details about the new journey, please go check out my OSU profile. But here's 2 things I will tell you about. The next journey starts on May 1st, and I will go streaming on Twitch every time I start playing OSU since then. So please go check out my OSU profile, and I hope to see you on Twitch on May 1st. Bye bye!